Hi there, Siamak. Nice to see that you sent us a set of essays. Let's take a look at what you've done here. The first one is about English and homestay. Here's what you wrote. Dear Watsons, I am writing to inform you that I have chosen your house as my homestay during the time I am going to study English in the UK. I am John Zuckerberg, originally from Switzerland, who is so passionate about learning English. I am determined to become proficient in English before my next birthday when I will be 30. As I have never been to the UK, there are some concerns and I hope you can clarify them to me. As I am supposed to arrive in winter, could you inform me how cold it gets? Furthermore, I have to be careful about my expenditures. My budget is limited. Could you also give me details of my overall expenses for a month? There have been some changes with regard to the time of my arrival. Fortunately, I just received an email with the information related to the date of my arrival. I will arrive on November 23rd, around 2 p.m. I'm looking forward to visiting you. Yours sincerely. Okay, so this is quite good. There's a lot of good language, a lot of accurate language, but there still are some things that we need to correct. Okay, so let's talk about some of the little errors that kind of peppered this answer. Now, perhaps this is just a personal preference, but I thought this, Dear Watsons, was a little strange. I think it would have made more sense if you had said Dear Watson family or Dear Mr. and Mrs. Watson. Okay, that seems more appropriate to me. So I would change that. Now, going through the letter again. The first part was okay. I thought your paragraphing was a little strange. I would have put these two together. So the reason for your writing and your kind of introduction, for me, should have probably gone together. Okay? So now you're probably thinking, well, paragraphing isn't really important in task 1. And okay, yeah, that's true. But it's the kind of thing that separates a good answer from a really good answer. So it's pretty easy to do correctly. I'd like to see that. Okay. So I thought that some of this was a little awkward. Basically, it was the first sentence. So I am John Zuckerberg, originally from Switzerland, and then to talk about yourself in the third person felt really weird to me. So I thought it would be a better idea to say something more like, I am John Zuckerberg, originally from Switzerland, and I am very passionate about learning English. Okay, is it a little simpler in terms of language? Well, yes, it is, but it's certainly more appropriate, and that's essentially the overall goal here: clarity and communication. And I'm sure you could have had more opportunities to use a relative clause elsewhere. Okay, I'm determined to become proficient in English. Okay, that's fine. There are concerns that I hope you can clarify. Now, this grammatically was incorrect because the them, you've already talked about it, the concerns, so you don't need to say that again. There are some concerns that I hope you can clarify for me. All right, and then you don't need them. The next part was okay. Okay. I have to be careful about my expenditures. All right, it should be an S. Could you also give me details of my overall expenses for a month? Okay, I think you probably could have gotten a little more detailed here. You know, I mean, these people don't know you, so they're probably wondering, well, you know, what kind of expenditure? So I think you probably could have developed this just a touch more, saying that, you know, you plan to commute to the university every day, or you like to go out to eat once a week, or just tell them like some of your own personal expenses. Just add something else. It just felt very brief to me. Okay. There have been some changes with regard. That's perfect, and I'm glad you didn't put the S there. A lot of people do that. You did not. Okay, so the rest of it was wonderful. So it was just those couple little things. Like I said, the rest of it was wonderful. It's well written, so no concerns there. I want to move on to your task 2, okay? Alright, so let's take a look at your task 2 about international marketing, here's what you said. It is true that global marketing can sometimes be thought of, you have to think of something. So, it can sometimes be thought of as invasive, which threatens, that's the correct verb, the traditional ideas of countries. Others, however, believe that it is essential for the exchange of ideas, language, as well as economic development. Okay. This essay will discuss both ideas, and I will give my perspective. Okay. So, yes, but there's something missing here. Remember that the essay has asked you to discuss both views and give your opinion. So I want to show you something. So this is the public version of the bad descriptors for task 2, and what I want to point your attention to is this task achievement. Okay, band 7. Look at the second bullet here. It says presents a clear position throughout the response. What does that mean? Well, your position is your response to whatever the question is, or whatever the command is. Here the command is discuss both views and give your opinion. Alright, so your position is your answer to that. The other key thing that we have to focus on here is the word throughout. What does throughout mean? It means from the beginning to the end. So how can you make your position clear from the beginning? You can do that most easily by including it in your introduction. Okay? So whatever they ask you to do, give your opinion, tell them if the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, whatever, you have to address it in your introduction. Okay? So, for that reason, I definitely recommend not telling them just that you're going to give your perspective and leaving it until the end, but actually saying what your perspective is. Alright, moving on. On the one hand, international marketing is considered as invasive, which can lead to the erosion of local cultures and ideas in a country. The main reason for this is that all products marketed by the developed countries, you don't need a comma here, somehow promote the country's ideas and beliefs, which is not necessarily compatible, because ideas and beliefs, plural, which are not necessarily compatible with the values of other countries. For example, with regard to the film industry, Hollywood blockbusters with undeniable global appeal promote Western cultures and intimate relationships which are completely in contrast with the local cultures of people in the Middle East. For this reason, many experts have been concerned, ED, about the devastating impacts on every aspect, no S, of life in these countries. Alright, let's continue and then we'll discuss it in a minute. On the other side of the coin, alright, basically you used on the one hand, which pretty much obligates you to use on the other hand. If you didn't want to use this pair, then you probably shouldn't have used on the one hand. So moving on. On the other hand, international marketing is crucial for the economic development and spread of ideas. I would have gotten rid of the, so it's crucial for economic development. From the economic perspective, international marketing has boosted the economy of not just a country, but many countries. So, countries. In fact, it enhances commerce between countries, which can lead to the creation of jobs and flourishing of the local businesses. No, the here. Furthermore, it is an effective means through which countries can share ideas and cultures. Due to the effective use of international marketing and spreading of knowledge and ideas, there has been great breakthrough in technology, agriculture, and medicine in the last decades. Okay? In conclusion, there are merits to both ideas. However, on balance, I think international marketing is necessary if we are concerned about the future prosperity of countries. Okay. So, nice. Obviously, again, the grammar and the vocabulary was very good. Well, were very good, sorry. Were there some mistakes? Yeah, there were some little mistakes. Nothing super, super serious. Definitely high level, so that was good. Let me tell you what's keeping this from getting a 7. First of all, it's what I said in the beginning, that you were supposed to give your opinion and you did not. All right, you just kind of decided to keep it as a surprise for us until the end. So that's one thing that will hold you back. The other thing that will hold you back is your task achievement, okay, and how you develop this topic. Let's talk about why. Basically, while you develop the topic, and I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here, because I was thinking to myself, well, Hollywood blockbusters, is that really a marketing tool? And I thought in the beginning, no, not really. But then I decided to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, well, perhaps it could be considered a marketing tool. You see, to my mind, the movie itself is the product. So the marketing of the movie is something else entirely. So it's kind of this weird thing. While it's true that movies do contain marketing material, like I said, it's probably not the best example you could have used, okay? Instead, what you could have done is, rather than talking about movies, you could have talked about commercials. So, commercials in displaying their products also kind of subliminally send us other messages about culture, about language, about, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that would have been a much more appropriate example, and not so much movies, which are themselves a product. Does that make sense, Siamak? I'm not really sure if I'm explaining myself well. I hope I am. If I'm not, just, in your email say, Ellen, that made no sense. That was my concern here. Now, here I had a different concern. I feel like there was a little misunderstanding about the task. It said a necessary and economical form of education. And by economical form of education, they mean education which is inexpensive. Okay? You instead decided to talk about how international marketing helps the economy. So that didn't really feel on topic to me at all. You talked about the creation of businesses. Okay, so that first half of the paragraph, all of this felt rather off topic to me. You were supposed to talk about culture, ideas, and language, and how international marketing promotes the transmission of these things. You did talk about that in the second half of the paragraph, but even that I felt was very underdeveloped and very abstract and not really supported by anything. You said share ideas and cultures, spread knowledge, but you never really got into any specifics about this. You never gave me any examples about how marketing does this. You never explored it more in detail. So it was a very kind of cursory look at this. And to get a better score, especially in light of the fact that the first half of the paragraph was not appropriately developed, you needed to do more in terms of international marketing. So those were some of my concerns about your task achievement. Everything was nicely written, but again, it's these issues that are going to keep you from getting that score you need. All right, so that's what I want to tell you about this. I'd like to see you, if you're happy with this particular video correction, I'd like to see you signing up for more work with us, okay, so we can help you with more feedback and, kind of overcome some of these obstacles that are keeping you from getting the score you need. So see if you can sign up for essay corrections, or perhaps you would like to look into the online course, which is, structured and gives you information about everything you can possibly need to score well in IELTS. See what works best for you. We'd love to work with you in the future. I think we can help you reach your goal. So good luck, and I'd love to see more essays from you in the future.